Hey guys, welcome back. I've got something to say very quickly before we kind of get on with this tutorial. This tutorial I have kind of been trying to put together for a very long time now, and it has been very difficult, just because I didn't realise how many kind of steps there is in it. It's a very detailed, well I think it's a very detailed tutorial on corsetry. Hopefully, even if you're a very beginner when it comes to sewing, well not sewing but kind of a beginner, certainly when it comes to corsetry anyway, this should kind of show you how to produce a decent corset, because it kind of has a few kind of like tips and tools and kind of helpful hints in there along the way. Also, you can obviously apply this tutorial to any kind of corset pattern that is a double layer or a sandwich corset. I think there's one or two in my corset pack that's already on the site. I can probably give a link to that at the end of all of this. Also, all of the tools and all of the material is on an Excel kind of like, or a PDF spreadsheet that is downloadable, and obviously you can print that off and it'll tell you all the good locations to find all this stuff in London, unfortunately, sorry guys. There might be some stuff on the web that I've put on there, but mainly it's shops in London. Also, yeah, I supplied the actual tutorial is based on a corset called RPC003. Now this corset is from my couture collection, and it's basically put on there as a celebration because I've just hit 100,000 hits on my site, which is a massive landmark for me, and I'm so happy. And it's all because of you guys. So for that, I've kind of want to, as a celebration, put this pattern on there, and also it's quite an intense pattern. It's quite a mismatch of 16th century, 17th century with modern kind of like construction techniques. It's also a tight lacing, very tight corset. It has hip extensions, and there's a bit of an explanation about hip extensions in there. So it's a real kind of couture, heavy going corset, but it's certainly a lot of fun. So hopefully, you know, kind of take what you can from the tutorial, learn the techniques, and apply it to your own kind of corsets and stuff. And I hope it helps to a certain degree. You know, it's not the I'm not saying that I'm an expert in any way whatsoever. I've spent about 3 or 4 years teaching myself, so all the stuff that I'm showing you here is stuff that I've kind of found in books or developed myself or whatever else, these techniques. So by no means is this the be-all and end-all. There are so many different ways of doing things out there. Go and look for books, go and look on tutorials, that kind of stuff to, you know, this is just the way I find it easy and quick to do a corset that kind of stands the test of time. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and if you have any questions or comments or anything you want to know, or I'm not clear on certain parts of it, or the pattern doesn't work or whatever, please give me, you know, comment on this post or this tutorial or this page or whatever, and that would be wonderful. There are lots more corset patterns coming up, and there's also another corset tutorial coming up which is single layer corsetry, because this one is obviously double layer where you're sandwiching the boning between 2 thick layers of coutil. Another one I'm going to do is just 1 layer of coutil, with the outside being like a nice satin, or you know, any kind of material you want to put on top, like a printed material, and then on the inside you're actually stitching boning to the corset or creating little kind of bias binding channels and feeding it through. So I'll show you that as well. There's loads of different ways to do corsetry, and hopefully this is the start of a couple of in-depth tutorials on that. And I'm really going on. This has been going on for about 3 minutes. So yeah, enjoy the tutorials and let me know how you feel. Oh yeah, one last thing. In order to do this tutorial, you can either, I recommend you watch through it first of all to kind of get your head around the pattern, but first of all you need to download RPC003, which should be either in the Free Patterns Women's Wear Corsetry archive, or it should be attached to the latest newsletter. The latest newsletters, they normally disappear after a month, so probably the best bet is to go to the Free Patterns site. Also, you want to download that, put it into Photoshop, cut it up into A4 segments. There's a tutorial for that and everything. Just have a look on the site and tutorials and print it off, and that's basically where this tutorial will cut in. We've basically printed it off and cut it into individual sections. Yeah, and that's all you'll need really. Also, find some coutil, find some calico, find all the kind of tools and bits and bobs that you need to produce this corset. I'll probably do a list, like a smaller list, like the bare essentials when it comes to producing this. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. So yeah, that's what you'll need to start off where we're going. But yeah, watch the video through first of all, and then possibly start. Okay? Okay, so once you have printed out your pattern pieces of that corset, RPC003, all you need to do is basically cut them out and we're now going to start to kind of work into it. So with this tool here, we've got a sorry. Okay, so what we've got is we've got this tool from a leather market, or basically a shop that sells leather tools or leather, or a specialist basically. And if you can't find these, it's absolutely fine. There's lots of other ways that we can do this, but what we're simply doing is we're going in and making these tiny little holes. You can see these tiny little holes on every single corner of this pattern, and I'm going to explain why we do this a bit later, because it's going to be easier to show you visually than it is to explain it. But it's just accuracy when it comes to making your pattern pieces. So you can either use a tool similar to this with a little hammer or something like that, or you can basically cut off the corners, but this is something you'll need to do once you have got your